it's not good numbers. It's just TV all around doesn't do good numbers that
Because
much
I'll tell you
anymore if
one
you're not
thing,
like a live sport.
I did watch the full episode of SmackDown, Edge's last match, or who knows, maybe that'll be our last topic. We can talk about that.
Oh
but,
yeah,
Right.
we can bring that up.
That I watched that episode of SmackDown. The last time I watched a full episode of SmackDown or any weekly WWE show for that matter, I think it was like 2020 when Roman Reigns, I think he had a match with Braun Strowman for the Universal title. It was like right after he won it. Point is, I don't watch the weekly shows anymore.
No.
Yeah,
Even
no,
if I
that's
had
fair.
the time. It's like
I
all my stuff comes from the WWE YouTube channel. That's where I watch everything, basically.
Yeah.
I watch the
I was gonna
highlights.
say, I didn't even watch the entirety of the Bray Wyatt tribute episode. I watched the opening bit with the tribute, and then I watched all the highlights of everything else on YouTube afterwards.
And like, even if I did watch every week live, like if I had the time and everything to watch every week live, I wouldn't be giving them any ratings numbers because don't have cable. So
Yeah,
Right.
you're not
I'd
going to
be
buy
finding-
cable.
yeah, I'm not gonna. I find alternative ways to watch.
But if they added it to Peacock, you might put it on. If they added Collision to
Yeah.
Max, you might put it on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like I would exactly. Like if I had a way to watch it that I didn't have to go out of my way to find like a working stream,
Yeah.
I might tune in every once in a while. But
I think eventually
honestly-
they have to go the way of the NFL, where they do both. They do cable and streaming, where it's like basically it just gives you a feed of the live show. It has the commercials and everything exactly
yeah,
the
you're
same.
still
But
obviously
Well-
gonna get commercials and shit. But like, yeah, I think that would be their best bet in the future.
I think
because
the
there's
main
no way
reason the
they can
NFL,
keep it.
like the
that
main
way.
reason the NFL does that though is because they're working with TV networks that already have their own streaming services. Like CBS has Paramount Plus and stuff.
Right, but
think
Warner
yeah,
Brothers
yeah,
has Max, and they're
Right.
the ones that have the deal with AEW, so it could work with them. And
Yeah, exactly.
NBC has
Where-
Peacock, so it's the same thing pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the problem is WWE right now is locked in contracts with Fox and USA Network, so that's why I don't think.
But I think what I'm
surprised they-
trying to say is when the new contract
Oh,
comes,
yeah.
streaming will be part of it.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they didn't do it when they owned their own. The WWE Network was still a thing in the US. Like I was waiting for that when they made that announcement. They finally got all the bugs out of like the pay-per-view streaming. I was waiting for them to eventually make the announcement that Raw and SmackDown would start streaming live weekly on WWE Network.
I knew
Yeah,
that
I mean,
wasn't going to happen.
I didn't think it would, but like I was hoping because
Well, I
it would
thought
have been
they
such
would.
an easier way to watch it.
Yeah, I thought they would because it makes it more accessible to everybody. You don't have to have, but also if they could increase the price then. Like they could have a package that includes you being able to watch the live weekly shows live at the time it happens, and it would still ultimately be cheaper than you having both the network and a cable subscription.
It's not just about accessibility, though. It's also just the weekly shows suck overall. It doesn't
I mean,
feel like
they
anything's
do.
at stake. They do the same main events week after week after week. And it's just like, what's the point? Even if I have cable, it's like if I really want to watch the show, yeah, I can pull up an illegal stream and I can watch it. Like that's what I did when I watched Edge and Sheamus. So I can if I really want to watch it, but I just don't want to. I feel like there are better things I could do with my time than
Yeah,
sitting through
exactly.
3 hours of filler garbage. And
Yeah,
if I want to watch like the promos, like that build up to the pay per view, I just go on YouTube for that. So
Yeah,
I think they need to
exactly.
do more to make them feel important. Collision, honestly, for a while they did a good job with that because
They
Yeah.
did.
they had to get people
cared
to
about
invested
watching
in
it.
a Saturday show because Saturday is the deadest night in TV. So they really worked their asses off to make people care about it, and it worked. But
Yeah.
now without Punk and all these other I don't think they'll be able to keep it up. But I think cable is definitely a big part of it too. It's just even if people want to watch it, they can't.
Yeah.
Right. And I think like the last time I was actually invested in the weekly shows of wrestling was when NXT and AEW were both on Wednesday night.
Yes.
Even though they weren't directly like taking shots at each other, like while they were both on the air at the same time, it made it exciting. Like I was excited. I was my freshman year of college, so me and my roommate each had a TV set up with the opposite company's show on it.
Yeah, it was
And
fun.
we're watching side by side. It was fun. It's like I'm guessing like it was the closest thing I got to feel with what WCW versus WWE on the Monday Night War was. It's having two TVs.
No, that's not
set
the
up.
real Monday Night Wars. We already talked about the real Monday Night Wars earlier.
I was gonna say the Wednesday Night War, it was pretty lackluster because NXT didn't really fucking try, if we're gonna be honest.
As well
Like-
as it was more of a made up war by the fans. Like,
Oh, absolutely it was.
neither company ever really took crazy shots at the other programming. Like,
Well, the narrative, the AEW fans were a little bit out of control during that time because they were like,
yeah.
Look at WWE trying to knock off AEW. Bitch, NXT was on Wednesday the whole time before AEW was even a thought. So they went to Wednesday, which was their normal night, on USA Network, and they only did that because they wanted more money for the pay-per-view, not necessarily because more money for the TV rights, I mean, because
Yeah, plus-
Raw, they pay
yeah.
them for Raw, they pay them, and they get like another, I think, $50 million a year for NXT, something like that.